The work of the boss of this company is too boring. Every day, he has to interview numerous secretaries. How high the salary? It depends on how long the legs are. And then, in the middle of the busy day, he plans the future with his employees, saying that the next project is significant. If you get it, you'll get a promotion and a raise. If you don't get it, you'll be fired. This man's name is Mike. Every day he dreamed of being the boss, to be one of the partners of the company. So he worked overtime like hell. He was on the phone all the time, but none of this worked. Until one day, his person changed forever because of a remote control. This day he was shopping in the mall, collapsed on a sample bed.
So tired of my life.
And then he turned over. He saw a strange door. Mike went in. He saw a strange old man. He seems to be an electrical repairman.
What's your name anyways?
Call me Morty.
Mike got a so-called universal remote control from him, and it was free. The only requirement is that you can't return it. Mike thought to himself, who would return something free? And when he got home, he found out the magic of this thing. His wife was nagging at him. He impatiently pressed the pause button. And then, not only did the TV screen stand still, even his wife was still. At this point, Mike didn't realize what was happening. He was working late at night in the basement on his drawings. The family dog kept barking in a hurry to go to the bathroom. Mike did not know what to think. Grabbed the remote control. He told the dog to keep his voice down. Mike was confused. Why does the dog only open its mouth and not make a sound? Then he tried to turn the volume back up. Oh my god, is he hallucinating from working too hard? Mike decided to take the dog out first to solve the problem, just to clear his head. But the dog sniffed for a long time, but did not want to pull. Mike remembered the remote control again. Try to press the fast forward button. The dog moved it 5 times the speed. Went to the bathroom in a hurry. Back to the house on the tired down.
Holy mother!
The next morning, Mike found the strange old man, asking what the hell is going on here. The older man said it wasn't just any remote control. It's a universal remote control that can control your life. Pressing the playback button, go straight back to your mother's womb. Witness the scene of his birth. After reviewing the first half of his life, Mike finally believed. With this magic remote control, you can do whatever you want. The man looked at his pale self in the rearview mirror, pressed the color adjustment button on the remote control. Immediately, the whole person turned yellow. Mike was excited like a fool. Then he suddenly thought, green seems more suitable for himself.
Don't get the Hulk angry. You won't like him when he's angry.
Since he got this magic remote control, Mike began to do whatever he wanted, with the kids making a lot of noise and fuss. Press the pause button. The whole world is quiet. Traffic jam on the way to work. Pressing the fast forward button. At the last second, he parked directly under the company. All the illnesses and troubles in life he can skip with one click. But it's strange. Every time Mike fast forwarded, he forgets what happened in the meantime. The older man explained. When life is fast forwarded, the body goes on autocruise mode. It becomes like a walking corpse. Every move and movement, all by automatic reaction. There is no memory left. Then Mike takes the remote control in his hand, and his career started to go smoothly. A big client from Japan was whispering. Mike turned up the volume on the air conditioner and switched the language to English. He instantly understood what the client was thinking. And then the right medicine precisely hits the customer's every need. The order was successfully won.
Fuck yeah!
The next day, Mike came to the office with great enthusiasm. The secretary was impressed by him, but then the boss went back on his word. He said he had to complete the whole project before getting a promotion and a raise as a partner. Mike was furious and hit the pause button. He slapped his boss 3 times.
Wow, I just got a big headache.
But this is not enough to vent his anger. Mike continued to pause. He put his boss's creased face on his ass.
Partner-wise, I taste shit.
You do?
When is this going to end? Mike consulted the older man. If fast forward a few months, nothing serious will happen. The older man advised him to use the fast forward function with caution. When Mike got home, looking at the remote control, still could not resist pressing the fast forward. In a flash, he was at the scene of his promotion celebration, but Mike never expected that press skipped a year.
Took that bastard a year to promote me?
A whole year of his life has also changed dramatically, because when he fast-forwarded, Mike was in the autocruise mode, as superficial as possible. His relationship with his wife has dropped to the freezing point. The kids have grown up a lot, no longer close to Mike. The family dog has also passed away. Got a new one. Mike regretted it so much. He thought he had to be extra good to his wife, but the remote control automatically fast-forwarded. A minute later.
No! No! It's not my fault!
Mike asked the older man what was going on. The older man said the remote control has an AI intelligence system, can record Mike's usage habits, trigger the corresponding function. Whenever there is a traffic jam, quarrel, sick, these mics skipped the scene before. The remote control will automatically press the fast forward button, without even saying hello to him. Now Mike knew that he was afraid. He wanted to throw away the remote control, but the problem was that the older man had said before, once received, no returns. So no matter how Mike tried to throw it away, the remote would automatically return to his hand. When he woke up the next day, to avoid automatic fast forward, Mike did not dare to shower. He didn't dare to change his suit. Do not dare to drive the car. He got on his bike. He arrived at the office in his pajamas, and just as he walked into the office, I heard the boss announce the retirement news. He said that with Mike's performance, he would sooner or later become the company's CEO. Mike smiled for a few seconds, immediately realized that something was wrong, because once there is a hope of promotion, the remote control will automatically fast forward again. In a blink of an eye, Mike traveled 10 years later, living in a high-tech mansion, has become the CEO on the top of life, but at the same time, he paid the price is also quite painful. Age is not just a killing knife. He directly turned Mike into a 500-pound fat pig.
Oh my god, I'm a fat guy!
I am the magic remote control. At this time, it was caught in Mike's fat. Lost 10 years of memory. Mike rushed back home to check the situation, but as soon as he entered the house, he saw his son lying flat on the couch, also fat.
Look how big you got! You're enormous! Look who's talking, Captain Twinkie the SS fat ass!
Father and son saw each other in a different way. There was no return to the days when father and son were loving and dutiful. The innocent little daughter had become a hot girl. She had to go out to meet her boyfriend. What Mike couldn't accept was that his wife, whom he loved so much, she has remarried, and in front of her, and she was having sex with her. Mike could not get the reality. He fought with his lover. The family dog didn't know him either. He rushed up and threw Mike to the ground, because whenever Mike was hurt, the remote control will automatically fast forward. So when he woke up again, 6 years have passed again. My wife was getting old by now. She came to visit Mike in his hospital bed. Said Mike had been tested for cancer. It took 6 years to save him. The hospital gave Mike liposuction. His belly was now so flabby, it looked like a giant cow's tongue. Mike came to his office after being discharged from the hospital. He saw that his son had not only lost weight, he had inherited his business. He has become an excellent architect. Mike was both relieved and ashamed. He asked his son if he wanted to call his grandparents and have a family reunion, but the son froze for a while. He said his grandfather had passed away long ago. Hearing this news, Mike instantly broke the defense. He couldn't stop crying. His son reassured him that old age, sickness, and death were just a natural process, but Mike was sad that he had skipped this process. For more than a decade, all he had was one cruel result after another. Mike went to his father's grave. He is trying to use the remote control to recall the scene of his father's death, but no matter how he pressed it, there was no response. It turns out that when his father was dying, he was still busy with his work. He wasn't even there. There was no choice. Mike had to go back to the last time they met. The gray-haired father came to visit and asked the three of them to have a man's party together, but Mike was still busy with his work. He didn't even raise his eyes. He refuses indifferently.
Can you let me do my work?
The father apologized repeatedly. He stroked Mike's head one last time.
I love you, son.
Mike looked at this scene. He just wanted to slap himself hard, but there is no pill for regret in life. He could only keep rewinding, repeating the last words his father said to him.
I love you, son. I love you, son.
And then add a long overdue response.
I love you too, Dad.
I'll miss you.
At this point, Mike wanted to kill the older man who gave him the remote control, but he couldn't get hold of him. In his panic, he accidentally pressed fast forward again. He jumped to the scene of his son's wedding, although a little confused. But seeing his family so happy, Mike also felt a little comfort. However, when she heard her daughter call her stepfather her father, blood pressure spiked, directly fainted. When he woke up, he realized that his daughter had been here for 36 hours, but his son was just like his younger self. He put his work first. His honeymoon with his new wife was cancelled. He was seeing that his son was about to follow in his footsteps. Mike was so anxious, so he pulled out the ventilator. He went after him even if he didn't want to die. It was pouring outside. Mike did not run a few steps and fell to the ground. Fortunately, at the last moment, his son saw him. Family members gathered around. Mike used his last strength to say what was on his mind.
Family comes first.
He told his son to cherish his family. He told his son to go on his honeymoon in peace. Then he expressed his most profound love for his daughter, even his hated wife's rival. He also finally gave a friendly affirmation. And finally, the ex-wife. He handed over a note about his confession on their first date.
Forever and ever, babe.
Then Mike died. If the movie ends here, personally, I would feel much better. But in fact, the story does not end. A white light flashed. Mike woke up from the sample bed in the mall. It turns out that what happened before was just a dream. Mike ran home excitedly. He kissed and hugged his family. He then said that work could be put on hold for a while. A weekend camping trip was planned immediately. Finally, Mike found the universal remote control on the table. There was a note next to it. It was a message from the weird older man. "I know what you'll choose this time." Mike didn't hesitate, decided to throw the remote control into the trash can. The movie is called Life Remote Control, but there is no such thing as a remote control for life. Life is life every day. When you are obsessed with finding shortcuts in life, the result is likely to be a fortune. You can't afford it, and the things you lose, it will also be too heavy for you to bear. Well, that's it for today's story. See you next time.